Welcome to Squad, your source for esports and gaming. We have a jam-packed day for you today, so here's the rundown. We're going to be counting down our top multiplayer maps in Rank It. I'm hoping for Nuketown in that one. Then Lisa and Brody are going to give us their takes on the top stories, tweets, and Twitch clips in Unmuted. And Lethamyr is going to be joining Brody in Esports in 30 to talk Rocket League. But first, let me get you caught up on the news in Reported. The creator of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, Brendan PlayerUnknown Green, is stepping away from active development of his popular Battle Royale. Instead, Green will move from Seoul to Amsterdam to lead a new team that will develop and explore new technology for PUBG Corp. Green is the public face and namesake of one of the most popular games in the world and is one of the world's most widely known developers. He's been the main spokesperson for PUBG since the game made its debut in 2017, and he could be regularly found talking to his fans, signing autographs, and giving away trophies at events. PUBG development will now be headed by Tae-Sik Jang and other members of the team who have worked on the game for years. Hopefully Green keeps accomplishing big things in his new role, because it's safe to say he's changed video games forever with PUBG. One of the longest running and infamous PC games of all time is going to new places. Dwarf Fortress, a popular roguelike that has been in development since 2002, will be coming to Steam and itch.io later this year. For those who are unaware, Dwarf Fortress is a game where you can control a group of dwarfs trying to build a rich underground fortress. It used standard ASCII text as its graphics, though the new version will have its own engine. While this is great news for players, the reason why it's coming to new platforms is another story. Dwarf Fortress's developers Tarn and Zach Adams said that the move to Steam and itch.io was made because their current revenue was not enough to cover the medical costs of family members who have developed serious health issues recently. Dwarf Fortress is a great game, and the money spent on it will definitely go to a good cause. The studio behind co-op zombie hit Left 4 Dead is back with a brand new zombie game. Turtle Rock Studios announced today that they are partnering with Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment to develop a new game called Back 4 Blood. Turtle Rock developed the original Left 4 Dead when it was a studio owned by Valve. When it became independent in 2011, Turtle Rock would go on to create Evolve, another co-op shooter that saw great success at first before quickly dropping in player count. Turtle Rock then began to work on a new multiplayer game for Perfect World Entertainment, but that project has been canceled. There's no trailer or description as to what Back 4 Blood will be, apart from the fact that it is a co-op shooter with zombies. It will launch on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One sometime in the future. I loved Left 4 Dead. I wasn't good at it, but I loved it. Those witches scared the crap out of me every single time, so I can't wait what Back 4 Blood will be. Maybe they can make it a bit happier so it's not too scary for me, like rainbows and just zombies prancing around. Let me know what you think you want from the game at our socials at Squad State. And sound off there. In a bit, we have Lisa and Brody facing off in Unmuted. But first, let's check out our top picks for the top multiplayer maps in Rank It.
There's one thing people don't talk a lot about that can make or break a multiplayer game, it's the maps. A great map strikes that perfect balance between complexity and simplicity, casual fun and deep strategy, and in some cases the very best become iconic in their own right. So today we celebrate the maps that kept us up way too late saying just one more game. This is our top 5 multiplayer maps of all time. Our pick for number 5 is the definition of a late night gaming session favorite. It's Facility from GoldenEye 007. This map is memorable in all the right ways, with a great mix of tight corridors, open spaces, and the famous bathrooms leading to way too many Mountain Dew-fueled grudge matches between friends. In a game with so many sweet maps to pick from, Facility stands apart as an all-time classic. Okay, so we're kind of cheating here, but it's hard to argue that any map in history has been as influential as the map from Dota. The 3-lane setup, the river, the jungle, just about everything on this map has become iconic. While it's been imitated and iterated on over the years, just about every feature in all those maps calls back to the original. So, for being the grandpappy map of the MOBA genre, we think that the map from Dota deserves the nod at number 4. At number 3, we've got a classic from Call of Duty, Nuketown. COD is a series with plenty of famous maps that have led to great moments both on the competitive stage and basements around the world, but Nuketown just has that little extra spice that makes it special. Small without being too chaotic, action-packed while still having strategic depth, Nuketown is easily one of the funnest maps in COD's long history. Few maps are as instantly recognizable as our pick for number 2, DE Dust 2 from Counter-Strike. Whether it's sniping through double doors or holding long, pushing up mid or holding off a B-rush, so much of what makes Dust 2 great is seared into the minds of gamers. For nearly everyone playing CS for the first time, Dust 2 is their first map. And even after 1,000 hours, there's still a world of strategic complexity to master. Plus, it doesn't hurt that Dust 2 has played host to some of the greatest matches of competitive CS ever. For our honorable mention, we're leaving behind the pro scene and going for pure casual fun. It's Block Fort from any Mario Kart game. Block Fort, where children grew up and the buckwheat was separated from the barley. If you've never experienced the white-knuckled tension of balloon battle on Block Fort, I pity you. And if you have, then I don't need to say anything else. This map is awesome and always will be. At number 1, it's hard to pick anything else other than Blood Gulch from Halo. Since its debut all the way back in Halo 1, Blood Gulch has become the favorite map for multiplayer skirmishes, pro play, and even the legendary Red vs. Blue series. It perfectly showcases everything that makes Halo great, blending together long sightlines, close quarter combat, and vehicle combat into one big, beautiful masterpiece. It has depth, but also has a level of freeform creativity and chaotic fun that is unmatched by any other map. There's really nothing else to say other than Blood Gulch is frickin' awesome and is well deserving of the title of best multiplayer map of all time.
Welcome to Unmuted, the show where one of us presents a topic, meme, or tweet, both of us discuss it, and then both of us may or may not get muted. I'm Lisa Dwan.
And I'm Brody Moore, and it seems one day back, Marissa's already scared off.
I don't blame her. All right, newbies, listen up. This is how it works, okay? So we're going to discuss a variety of things, but we do have a special power. If either one of us feel like the other one's getting out of hand, we can press this special mute button right here, and the other person has to cool off for 30 seconds.
I was about to press it right there. And Jerry and our top stories will be on the clock, and we got 2 minutes to get our opinions out, so let's not waste any more time and get to the first story, shall we? Are you ready for my wrap?
I got it.
All right, the Switch edition of Fortnite will no longer allow for cross-platform play between the PS4 and Xbox One. Instead, a new update will match Switch players with those who play on mobile phones and tablets. Epic said the move was made to make Switch players have a better playing experience.
My first question is anyone playing Battle Royale on the Switch? Is that is that the thing? Even mobile is a little weird for me.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, that's almost insulting to Switch players, because I get it, because it is hard. Like those little nubs, if you're using the Joy-Cons, it's absolutely awful. It's absolutely awful. But yeah, it's almost an insult. Like you're saying, okay, you're not good enough to play against the real consoles. You're just, you know, you got to play against the mobile players. Yeah. We all know those aren't real players.
Oh shit! If Marissa was here, she'd be really upset. But I don't really care because I agree. I actually agree. No hate on mobile gamers, of course, but I think this is actually a good thing. It's fair. If you're a Switch player playing battle royales, I'm sure you're noticing it's not easy and you're not winning as much. So maybe this gives you an actual chance to win, and that's not a bad thing. I think this is totally cool. You got to get off your high horse and your ego and get over it, and like now you can actually win at the game. Isn't
that's the thing. Is it probably is really frustrating. I mean, they probably noticed. They probably have stats to it, like, okay, we had this many Switch players, and then when they got matched up against these guys, all of a sudden they were not playing the game anymore. Like these accounts went inactive. Yeah. They probably have the stats to back that up, and it doesn't surprise me. I mean, like at the end of the day, you shouldn't be playing shooters on a console in the first place, unless it's Halo. Halo's okay, but it's going to be on PC now, so like everyone's safe.
You have a Switch, right?
I do have a Switch.
Have you played Battle Royale games on the Switch ever?
I have not. The most I've ever done, I tried PUBG on my phone, and that lasted all of a day.
Yeah.
It didn't last long at all. But especially, like the Switch games, especially for shooters, the nubs aren't good. They're way too tiny. Yeah. They're just not good for that kind of game. Aww. Unless I could add touch controls and just make it like a mobile.
I think PUBG does, right?
Right?
PUBG has that.
I'd actually almost rather, this is gonna be weird, but I'd almost rather play on a phone for a shooter than on the Switch. Like straight up, because I feel like you have more accuracy.
How? The screen is so much smaller.
I don't know. Again, I'm picking like two bad options here, but
we'll have to talk about that later. That's weird. Anyway, speaking of Fortnite, the game's most popular streamer, Ninja, was reportedly paid $1 million by EA to stream Apex Legends shortly after its release. Ninja made it clear at the time that he was sponsored by EA, but the amount he was paid was never disclosed. Ooh, $1 million. Is that too little? $1 million.
So I mean, it probably came to like Ninja's probably like, all right, you know, playing this game, I'm gonna lose this many amount of people, so you need to pay me this that I'm gonna lose, and it makes sense to be. Did he lose
players though? Like, did he lose viewers? I don't know if he did.
He probably knew that like Shroud was gonna blow up or already blown up. You know, it's. I don't know. He probably definitely said like, okay, I need at least this much to compensate if I lose people. Because Fortnite's his thing, right? Yeah. People watch Ninja for Fortnite.
Yeah, but Fortnite was getting a little dry. I think it was right at the moment where Fortnite was kind of getting boring. The esports scene is completely blown up in a bad way. So like this was kind of a good moment for him to switch over to a new game. And honestly, I'm surprised. I think $1 million is a little too little. Like, doesn't it
think a little too little? Okay.
Let's repeat a bunch of
if someone came to you right now and said,
okay, I'm not Ninja. Don't even ask that question. I'm not Ninja. I would do it for $50.
Not even close.
We're talking about playing games,
$50. Right? Yo, tell me, give me $50. I'll play Apex.
I'll play it.
Yo, straight
I'll
up.
play mobile shooters if you want me to.
But
that seems too little.
Although Yeah, it depends what game. If it was Fortnite, you'd have to pay me a lot more than $1 million.
Real? Oh, shut up, Brody. That's you do it for a hamburger
Fortnite,
from McDonald's.
Bad, get it? That's true. But no, I think the weirdest thing I ever saw was when people are like, oh look, you know, Apex is blowing up. Just look what happens when you have a free game that's good. And they're like, no, there's no advertising. There was advertising. You just don't see it. It's exactly this.
You know,
they're paying
video
top
game
streamers.
advertising is now this. I don't think they're doing traditional stuff anymore. They're not like, you know, making advertisements anymore. They're getting influencers. It's
got to be organic.
This is our future. Even on Instagram and everything like that. Influencers are the future.
Everything is fake. Everything is a lie. Believe nothing. Stay in your room and play video games.
Okay. All right. Why don't we move on to this?
All right. Now we got to talk about League of Legends Fnatic AD carry Reckless revealed in a stream that the team had never scrimmed against the rival G2. He didn't elaborate on the reason why the two never scrimmed, only that Fnatic probably never will scrim against them. Drama bomb.
This is drama alert.
Bomb.
So a little context for people who don't really follow the scene.
Yes.
So Fnatic were considered the kings of Europe, okay? They were always #1 until G2 came into the scene. And then it switched. G2 were the kings. And so the question is, you know, when you're scrimming against a team, you want to face against the top team, right? That just makes you better.
Well, you want to learn, yeah.
So why are they not scrimming against each other? It would just benefit at least Fnatic now because
there's two reasons I can think of here for looking from the outside in.
Time.
Yeah, two reasons. One, bad blood.
Yes.
But again, and especially if he's not commenting on it, it seems like there might be one. I can't imagine all the players have bad blood against each other.
It's got to be
maybe
org
one
related.
or two.
Maybe it's org related.
Maybe it's org related. I don't know. Maybe the managers just don't like each other, so like they're just not setting up scrims. The other one is like maybe one team has a strat. They're like, we really think this can take down the other team, and we never want them to see this. I mean, I guess you could just not do that in scrims, right? And you could also fake, you know, strats like put them, give them.
Use this time.
Hey, this is not a real strat, but we're gonna make them think it's real.
Shut up. Let me. I'm trying to interject here, okay? As a League of Legends expert here, maybe, you know, like the scrim time, you can actually use it not to practice the strats that you want to hide, to even warm up. You can even treat them as a warm up, as little as that. But this sounds way more personal, okay? And this makes you wonder, maybe this is why Fnatic's struggling. They're choosing or maybe not choosing to scrim against the top team. And so this actually hurts Fnatic more. G2 has really no reason to scrim Fnatic. Fnatic are right now, I think, 5th in the standings, whereas G2 is #1. They're locked in for playoffs. They're good.
Okay.
But this, oh, you're back.
I'm back.
Why are you back?
Because.
Can I do it again?
No, you get one.
Damn it! I might have used that too early.
Yeah, probably.
I think of a bunch more. Oh,
it's the same thing. I was probably agreeing with you on this.
Whatever.
Jesus. But yeah, no. In all reality, it's likely bad blood from at least one of the two of the players, and they're like, all right, to make them happy, we'll just not scrim these guys.
Oh my God, these kids. All right, let's move on to more League of Legends news. So it's been announced that Red Bull will be an official sponsor for the LEC for the rest of the 2019 season. Red Bull, they will be the official energy drink supplier for the league, and Red Bull will also work to develop and promote grassroots League of Legends events in Europe. Other LEC sponsors include Kia and Shell V-Power. That's an interesting mix.
Okay.
That's an interesting mix.
Red Bull.
Red Bull.
You know, Red Bull's a weird one because like Red Bull's always been just seeing it from like an organizer standpoint years ago. It's definitely changing now. But Red Bull, this is something people actually forget. Red Bull's a marketing company. They started as a marketing company.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know. And that's why like anytime they do an event, you hear about it. They're just really good marketing, right? And the product was a side thing. Right?
What? Mind blown.
Yeah. So,
I didn't know that.
Red Bull, they were always very protective of their brand. Very, very protective. So they didn't actually like sponsoring things. In the early days of esports, they were like, okay, we'll run our own event. This is going to be like, and they have their own events. But being a secondary to something was not a thing they ever did. They didn't like to have their name attached to something. They wanted to be the something, right? And it makes sense. It's a really good brand protection. So seeing them now jump in means that they're believing in a lot of these esports as good brands. To me, that's what it looks like. That now they actually have faith in all of these esports happening, that, okay, these guys know what they're doing now. And that's a good sign to me for any esport or anything that Red Bull tries to attach their name to.
With Red Bull and energy drinks in general, though, isn't there that kind of like question whether it's good to be promoting these energy drinks? Because there's a lot of health issues relating to it. And I know gamers are really in on energy drinks, but I don't know, we want to be promoting like necessarily energy drinks in esports, especially with more kids. Like I mean,
like you might want to yell at G Fuel then on this. Like, do you know what the caffeine content in G Fuel is? It's insane. It's like upwards of like 200 to 300 per like glass. That's a lot. That is a lot. Red Bull's only 81 milligrams, I believe, or 83 or something. Like it's actually less than Red Bull is less caffeine than a coffee.
No.
Yes. An average coffee is around 90 to 110. I drink a lot of caffeine.
I should switch over. I was gonna say I drink like 2 creams, 2 sugar in every coffee. So.
Yeah, no. Now the other thing is, there's like the sugars and all that stuff and everything
so that was
else.
Even without the creams and sugars.
I think that's like that's something that's a whole other battle to fight. Tell gamers not to drink energy drinks.
You walked in yesterday with a Mountain Dew, so you know what? Maybe you're not one to preach.
Facts? It fuels me. It's real gamers drink Mountain Dew. Anyways, we're going to move on from the top stories to the top clips from Twitch. Let's see what streamers are up to. Lisa, what you got?
All right, so even streamers want to lead a healthier lifestyle, perfect on topic, like watch what they eat. But unfortunately for streamer, I hope I pronounce this right, Nymflol, there can be some complications.
Okay, I don't know if I told you guys this. I told Chance and Milena this, but
I don't want to listen to this. I'm muting.
Okay, you guys are gonna think this is disgusting. Do not clip this or share this around. This stays between me and you. So since I've been on keto, what has happened is my urine has become sticky. So whenever I pee, it just pees all over myself.
Can we say TMI on that? Can we mute him?
Can
we mute him? I don't think anyone needed to know that, but you know what? Since we're already on the topic of kind of diet and everything, Brody, can you relate? Brody?
Not
TMI.
to that specific scenario. I mean, like, we all have our complications, but
can we bring down the science?
I don't put it on Twitter. I mean, at the same time, it's good to be comfortable with your body and be able to put it out there. But like, there's some things that people probably don't want to. You understand? Like, just because you're comfortable with it doesn't mean other people are going to be comfortable with it.
He did give us a warning, though. I think he was like.
He did, and she's like, "I'm muting you. I'm out of here."
I just don't understand the science behind it. So what is it about the keto diet? So for those who don't know, I believe it's like high fat you're eating in the keto diet.
You're asking me as if I would know.
Okay, not everyone has a perfect body like you, Brody. But I think you eat this got weird. High fat, and like I think you cut out carbs. So why does that make your pee sticky? I think we need to call in a scientist of some kind.
We do, because I'm not a scientist, and anything I do here is speculation. I'm probably wrong, and I'm informing people on the wrong facts.
All right,
so let's not talk about that anymore.
All
right, let's move on here. Although Respawn has done their best to ban cheaters from Apex, this clip from Trainwrecks TV shows that some cheaters slipped through the cracks.
Whoa.
On me. What the hell? Find me.
What the?
He's speed hacking! He's speed hacking! Sorry for yelling.
What?
What are we fighting? Sonic the Hedgehog? What the f is this?
Sonic. Where can I get
Sonic.
that?
That was a good
Damn it! I wish I had my mute power.
That was a good rendition.
Wait, so that was a speed hack? Do you know anything about this hack?
Yeah, I have all those hacks installed on my computer right now. No, this is funny because like Apex just announced that they banned like almost 360,000 players recently, or accounts at least. Mm-hmm. That's probably like one guy with 354,000 other. But no, that's nuts. People are still doing this. You know that they're going after you, and that was so obvious.
Yeah.
Like it's not even like a small aim hack that like is barely noticeable. Like you have to really dive into a clip to see what's going on.
Yeah.
That was obvious, man.
So my question is there anything more a developer can do to stop hackers and cheaters like that? Because once it gets to this point, it's not fun anymore, right, to play like this. Yeah. So what can they do other than banning accounts to help this situation?
It's really hard. It comes down to like there's a lot with like the coding. There's probably a lot they can do with that. There's sometimes third-party software that can help like mitigate that stuff too. I don't know. Make sure you do as much stuff server side as possible. Yeah. But then also, if someone has bad bandwidth, that becomes a lot. You get more lag. Yeah, there's a lot you can do. But besides making it like a actual like offense to do, like where was it? It was China, I think, actually made it like a federal offense or something.
Actually?
Yeah, they actually went into a lot of people that are making hacks.
Okay, maybe that's a little over.
So we should put people in prison.
Okay. That's not going to cause more problems. All right. I think it's time to move over to Profound Thoughts.
All right, we'll do that. It is time for Profound Thoughts. The pros share some pretty strange things on social, so we thought, hey, why not put some of them on blast? Lisa.
All right, let's do it. So our first tweet comes from CSGO player Dupree. He said, "Sometimes I hate to reheat food. Takes a bite, realize it's not very warm, so I stuff my face to burn the living shit out of my tongue. Kids, remember to stir your food."
I love that the logical decision wasn't like, okay, it's cold, put it back in the microwave. It's like, nah, I'm just gonna deal with this. This is my life now.
I committed, and then the center is always more hot than the rest.
Can we be real? That is true gamer logic, though.
Right?
I'll put something in for
Committed.
like, all right, 45 seconds, and then it's still cold. I'm like, meh. My game's queuing. I gotta go.
And he's like, kids, stir your food. That's the lesson learned from this situation.
Stir your food. The better thing you can do is just jump on a food delivery service.
We're not
to be even lazier.
Are you sponsoring? Are we?
That's why I didn't name any.
Oh, okay.
I hope they will though, because I'm hungry.
Okay, we'll get you food after this. Okay.
All right,
Rory.
thank you. But
Stop
keeping it
talking
on
about
food, Caster EE, also known as Phenomenal EE, shared on Twitter a behind-the-scenes look at the Smash Ultimate Summit.
Here, boy, we got all kinds of chicken, boy. You got sauces, dry rub, nuggets. Oh, yeah. Right? Yeah, she knows what's up. God damn, boy. Even my boy Zachary, I got to give him some. Hey, Zachary.
It's Zachary.
Oh, Zachary.
Oh, my. This isn't helping the fact that you're hungry.
It's not at all. Why do we have to do this right now?
So what is your go-to
When's catering
food?
here?
Okay, we're not that
We're not that fancy.
So what is your go-to food when you're gaming? I know you do your Doritos.
You already know this.
But the people need to know.
Mountain Dew, Doritos.
Can you be more stereotypical?
Huh?
Is there anything outside of that two food groups that you eat when you're gaming? Like yesterday during the show, I had
chips.
All dressed chips. If you guys don't know, you need to know.
See, you feel it, right?
Oh my God.
You feel it, but you also have to be careful. You need some paper towels. You need some wet naps to make sure you're not getting keyboard all greased up.
You're all bougie. Yo, but that catering was really good. Speaking of catering, great catering story. So I did an event. Look, Riot Games knows how to
I've been to their place, yeah.
I think it was in Barcelona for their All-Stars event in 2016. Memories, I have dreams about it. Beautiful catering. You walk in, just trays of like.
Can we stop talking about
food, the best
please?
food, like salmon, veggies, dessert table. Oh, let me think of it. Oh, okay.
You're doing this on purpose now.
No.
Now try doing your throw without. All right, I'm doing your throw now. All right, it's my turn. Call of Duty Pro TJ broke one of the cardinal rules. One mustn't capture a companion in a state of unconsciousness and put out into the world. Bruce just said, make sure you hold the back in his sleep. Now, I'm trying to figure out what's going on there. You know, maybe they're moving. Whoa. Maybe they're moving. You say weird things even when you're not sleeping. I want to take another quick look at that though. If you didn't notice, it's not just something weird that he's saying. It's the way he's sleeping. Lisa, do you have any weird sleeping positions?
Can I talk now?
Yeah.
Is my time over?
Yes.
Have I said any weird things? Have I said any weird things in my sleep?
Do you sleep weird like that?
Oh, his position. Yeah, we gotta talk about that because that's some like high tier yoga position. I think the weirdest position I've slept in is probably like on a plane or something because I think I've excelled some positions. Okay, 13-hour flight to Korea. This is what I've learned. So I have two. So the first one is that you put the table down, you put your little pillow, the neck pillow you bring, of course, and then you sleep face first into it, or you curl up into the seat and you're like tuck. You tuck.
Yeah, because that works for tall people like me.
I'm tall too.
I need to book, now when I fly, I'm just gonna book 3 tickets. Yeah. So that I can just have a whole row and lay down.
Okay, bougie.
All right, let's move on. We're done with these profound thoughts. How about move on to some crowd controlled instead? For those of you who don't know, this is where we showcase the best and most ridiculous posts by the people for the people. Up first, Reddit user Babasina shows us that battle royales have some real competition. Look at this. No. I'm a man. I'm a refined man. I don't want none of that Fortnite, none of that PUBG. Give me the OG.
The OG
Some musical chairs. Hell yeah.
Oh my God. I remember playing musical chairs in grade school and see my competitive nature. I was like, I'm ready to go. I remember bad memories because people are very competitive when it comes to musical chairs. I've been tripped. I've been pushed. I've done some pushing. I'm not proud to admit it.
I feel like you are the bully in musical chairs. Like you probably not. You run up and just drop someone.
I'm not gonna lie. I do a little of the cheating thing where I kind of hover. I do the hover. You hover near the open seat. I gotta win.
Talking about yesterday, confirmed. She is not a fair gamer at anything.
You guys.
Inspect your computer. I guarantee it's full of hacks.
355 accounts or 1,000 accounts? Half of them were me. And I'm still bad at Apex. All right, let's move on to our next item. We've all played COD, well, most of us, but the remastered version of Modern Warfare gives us a chance to let out all of our frustrations with one final blow in an alternate ending.
Yeah, it's a classic, you know?
Yo, it's dramatic.
Like five Call of Duties to this ending.
Dude, take my pistol. You got him. Why didn't he shoot? What? Why? What? Did he just use a rocket launcher?
Yeah, talk about overkill.
Instead,
Overkill.
that's a little extra. I don't think that was a smart move.
You know what? I gotta have to boycott it now. It's not realistic anymore. Call of Duty, what happened?
What part was it?
Call of Duty is all about realism.
Where was the realism? The
Not
zombies
there.
part?
Not there. Anyways, let's end things off here. I want everyone to feel poor.
Oh.
Because I do after seeing these. So I went and found some of the coolest PC setups I've seen recently, also known as a battle station. This one comes from Reddit user TYMUU.
Ooh.
Bro.
Whoa.
That is, and this is the thing. Wow. This is a feeling, having this in front of you, even just look at it, this is a feeling that no mobile gamer will ever get to experience. The Switch players now too, I guess, they're in that group, that category. But they won't get to experience that. That is, I guess, console, but basically a PC exclusive.
That is
to
beautiful.
Experience
that was like some sci-fi pod.
And that's the coolest thing about battle stations. I'm actually probably gonna have to get more of those on the show in the future, because like the coolest thing about the battle stations is people usually has like themes they go with. Like I've seen some Western themes. I saw one the other day. Some guy was making like plexiglass to like have lights glow on the inside, a nice soft glow.
It's like the modern man cave.
Yeah, and there were a lot of cool just modern setups too, minimalist ones. There were ones where it's all white and just like a couple plants for grass to add a little greenery. Like no, it's actually sick what people, but it's expensive.
I can tell you're itching to talk about it. So why don't you? What is your gaming station?
It's pretty good. I don't think it's worthy to be posted on the internet yet, but it's pretty good. So I've got an RGB. Keep this in mind. Make sure you RGB everything, and it makes everything cool. So I got some back glows. I got those cool nanoleaf panels now too that light up the whole room, and they go with the music. I got 4 monitors across. I got a standing desk so I can move up and down when I'm playing VR. I got my VR hooked up, PlayStation hooked up, PC hooked. Well, not PC right now because I had some internal issues with that. Wow, you're so happy there. That's so rude. 4 monitors, then I got my laptop at the side for the streaming, and then I got a dedicated food table. I've learned, do not put your drinks on the same table that your keyboard's on, because that's how you make keyboards stop working.
That's a wise lesson.
You spill your drinks on it. Yeah, your Mountain Dew's on it.
No.
But yeah, no, and then I want to get 2 more monitors up the top. Yeah, I'm going big, and I'm still not going to be a good streamer.
I was really impressed. Like, I'm proud of my 2-monitor station, and that's it. That's all I got. 2 monitors. That's it. And a snowball.
I mean, you know, that's a start.
Thanks,
I suppose.
Brody.
That's all right.
All right, now I feel bad about myself. Anyways, this is it for us on Unmuted. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Remember, we got more of this action every day, Monday to Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And of course, make sure to hit us on the socials at Squad State. You'll find everything cool there. So we'll see you tomorrow.
Honestly, musical chairs is not to be taken lightly. It could be lethal. I remember I was in grade 3 and me and my friend were the last ones standing. And when that music stopped, we both looked at the last chair and we ran for it and hit each other in the face. Blood went everywhere, but it wasn't my blood. I won the game. So I'm pretty happy about that. But that's just my experience with musical chairs. Let me know your experience on our socials at Squad State. Now, in a bit, we're gonna have Lethamyr joining Brody to talk all things Rocket League in esports in 30. But first, here's a clip of what went down in the green room, powered by Red Bull.
Yeah, so that's when you're getting attacked on the left side. See the blinking red thing?
Oh, no. Yeah. Oh my god, they screwed me.
You're leaving your holes open everywhere.
Hey.
I thought he was a...
If I like to leave my holes open, that's what I want to do with my life, okay?
Oh god. Oh god. Wait a second.
You can't control my holes.
That place looks good.
What up, and welcome to Esports in 30, where today it's all about Rocket League. I'm Brody Leafexmore, and this man's beautiful man sitting on the couch next to me. It's pro player for Ghost Gaming, Lethamyr. How you doing, buddy?
Not too bad. How about you?
I'm all right. Ready to talk some Rocket League?
Oh, of course, always.
We got the map making scrims. It's all been good for you in the scene?
Everything's great. Yeah, it's just keeping the grind going.
Perfect. All right, now we got to move. We have a lot been going on in the off season because it's been the off season for a while. But that doesn't mean there isn't stuff to talk about. There was DreamHack, there was Renegade Cup, and of course there were roster changes. We're going to start off the show talking about DreamHack Leipzig, the first DreamHack circuit event of the year. But before that, Leth and I are going to make like that millionaire show and phone a friend. While we do that, check out these highlights.
Devo just gets some slight contact, and now we go to the other side. Bluey, he can double tap! Goes for Bluey! 1-0 Savage! Yukio off the wall, he sees his chance! Oh, the post! And he gets the save! Vera!
Looks like the last chance might go to Complexity, though. They've got a chance to boom this into the crossbar. And there it is going to fall to Magnus!
Gonna go long. Squishy can't ever get to that one.
Devo.
Double attack, that's going to be dropped back down. Devo! That is an absolutely phenomenal play!
There's another save for NRG, but how long can they hold on? Justin with an early score release in the last game, and he gets one in game 5.
Resembling the team they beat earlier on today, Savage, with how far they are pressed forward. Here's Scrub Killer, huge opportunity, goes for the top corner! Nailed it!
He just had nothing, so he couldn't do anything.
AJ getting under this ball, gets another shot, and AJ scores a second goal for Rogue. Savage's opportunity, they've got less than 2 minutes remaining. There's going to be Bluey as an option, he's pre-jumped! Goal! Justin against Scrubs there, follow up on the rebound, and now flipping it towards Crumb Killer, triple tap! Vitality 1-0. Echo Zulu have had a couple of solid chances. Vitality had chances at the beginning. Demo maybe opens things up here. Here's Scrub the shot! Oh, what a save by Taz! Echo Zulu!
Bumps Matain at the bay, that's on target, but oh my goodness, Taz! With that range to stop
Every single time! They're gonna try and break!
Yukio tries to find Panda in the middle. It's back to Yukio for the win! Game 6, skate up, over the top of Panda for 1-0. And he's gonna play it safe, pushing the ball in front of him. But it's another chance for Turbo! And Dignitas do respond!
This has been one of the craziest games ever in Rocket League. And now, we still await a winner.
Turbo shoots. It's gone in! Dignitas are your Leipzig 2019 champions!
And with DreamHack being one of the most stacked tournaments we've ever seen, of course, we saw a lot of action. So, who else to break it down than Lawler himself? Let's bring him in. What's up, dude?
Hey, how's it going, boys?
Doing great. Let's talk on the winners first. This has been a bit of debate just with that roster. Of course, you know, Dignitas ended up dropping down K-Dop and bringing Yukio instead.
I wouldn't say dropping, but you know.
There's
some swaps. There's some swaps.
All right. What are your initial thoughts on this?
He chose to leave, man.
Yeah, he chose to head over there. So
that's true. So what are your thoughts though with Yukio filling in the shoes of K-Dop? Because K-Dop's an incredible player.
Yeah, we saw them first at WSOE literally weeks prior, and there was a lot of questions that started to get answered, but it wasn't completely there. Pretty much their game plan was Violent Panda passes it up to Yukio and he scores. And they realized that it's not enough, and obviously it can't be enough against the other top-level teams, so they really mixed it up, and I think that's the beauty of these big tournaments like DreamHack, is when you have all this really high-level competition, it allows you to kind of see the flaws in your gameplay and test it against the best of the best. I mean, Lethamyr, obviously you were there, so you know all about that, testing a new player with a new roster and seeing how things go. Because you guys qualified through qualifiers, didn't you? Like, you guys actually
we went through the closed qualifiers, and we ended up taking it in the lower bracket. I think Brad made it all the way through without losing any games. But as far as like Yukio goes on that team, I feel like he might not be as polished of a player yet as K-Dop is, but I feel like the playstyles actually match better for Dignitas now than it did with K-Dop.
Really?
Well, because K-Dop's more of a methodical player. I think Violent Panda and Turbo are both very reactionary players and very like improvisation.
Well, you kind of have to be be when you play with K-Dop, like.
Yeah, I mean,
he's a loose cannon up on
He's a loose cannon. He has been lately, but I still think he's a little bit more reserved as far as like his game approach is. Like because of that one's experience that he has in the past. Like I feel like he takes it a little more methodically than his other teammates did. So that's why now he's on a team with all 1v1 players. I think that'll end up working pretty well in the future for Vitality, just because they all have that same sort of mindset going into it. And so now Yukio kind of matches with Violent Panda and Turbo, and it seems to be working out pretty fast for them to look like a top tier team.
So are we?
They won, right?
Yeah. So are we seeing like the Dignitas of old again? Then, like, is this going to be a team that's going to start to just crush it? I mean, like, we didn't see really many people be able to challenge. I mean, oddly enough, it was like Triple Trouble and Savage that were the only ones that really could, give them any trouble on the field.
Yeah, I think that like they've got it pretty polished against the RLCS level teams. It's more the Triple Trouble's actually an RLCS level team now, but like I feel like it's a different play style than the established players and teams that we're used to, and they've got that play style. I think they've adapted to that perfectly. Yeah. It's more so the other play styles that they need to work on. But
Lawler, are we seeing the Dignitas of old come back then?
I don't know, man. You look at EU, just look at your top four. Like, to be, it's stacked. Like, it's not going to be any easier. It's probably even more difficult. I think the fact that K-Dop left is just spreading the top talent to more teams.
True.
And even though Vitality has had a lot of questions around them, I think they've shown, like, on paper, we've all believed they could be one of the best in the world. Like, how do you not with that kind of level of talent? So the fact that they're finally starting to get a foothold, they understand that the things they need to accomplish. There's less double commits. Fairy Peak's starting to work into a rotation better. Like, another really solid squad with a lot of talent. So finding a way to make that work, I don't think is ever going to be an issue for Dignitas. It's kind of what they do best, especially when you have, in my opinion, the best LAN player in the history of the esport with Turbo Pulsa, and then probably the best support player in the entire history of the esport in Violent Panda. It's like, yeah, they're going to make things work, and it's going to be a difficult challenge for teams to play against them, but that doesn't mean that other teams can't compete, can't take games off of them. The scary thing, though, is we know what happens when Dignitas has time to play. And the more they play, now that the RLCS season's coming in, we're getting more DreamHacks for this year and stuff, like, they're just going to be even more prepared. And that's intimidating. So it's possible, but that's because the name Dignitas carries so much weight. Like,
you know what's going to carry them to victory right now? It's Snasky.
What's that?
Snasky as the coach. Now, I want to move on and talk about some other teams, but quick initial thoughts on Snasky as the coach. Good fit?
I mean, Snasky's always had like a really good mindset going into the game. I'm glad that he's found a coach role somewhere, just because of the falling out of his previous team. But filling in the coach role, I don't know.
I think my favorite thing about him signing as a coach means that, because we pretty much assumed Dignitas is going to be at every tournament, we get to see Snasky more. And I'm always down for that.
I'm down for that too. I love it. And also challenging Gregan for the buffest coach in Rocket League right now.
I'll give it to Snasky.
And speaking of, let's move on to Vitality right now. So as you mentioned before, Vitality actually had a few issues in the last season. They weren't quite meshing well in the field. A lot of double commits from the team. But now that K-Dop's on the team, you mentioned having that talent spread across all that European region now. Are we seeing a Vitality that's going to work? Do you think the issues have been resolved, or is Fairy Peak still going to be somewhat of a question mark on the field?
Like, almost like nobody disputes the fact that like Fairy Peak is one of the best players in the game, but it's almost to his downfall at how good he is, because he can cover everything on the field.
Yeah.
So much so that he double commits with his teammates. But I feel like he has some, maybe it's a communication issue. You know, he is French, and his English isn't like the best, and we have K-Dop now that is also French, and maybe they always worked well
Scrub's
together.
Gonna have to learn some French.
Yeah,
Dude,
exactly.
I mean, to put everything to bed, I mean, K-Dop wasn't kicked from, he wanted to leave Dignitas and play with Fairy Peak. That's the real reason he wanted to play with Fairy Peak, and I don't blame him. Like, you look at every doubles tournament that he and K-Dop have ever played together, they've won every single one. They've never lost a doubles tournament when those two have played, ever. So the fact that you're able to put that now on a threes-oriented field with Scrub Killer, one of the best at adapting mid gameplay, it's dangerous. And that's why we talk about how scary that team is on paper, right? The ability to put it actually into practice or put it into game is a totally different thing. And we've seen the issues that's created. Now, with that said, they have improved. I mean, look at DreamHack's results. Like, you can't deny that they're getting better, that they are dangerous. Like, they took second after having, in what is honestly an abysmal season last season in RLCS. So, yeah, it's great. It's just, can they continue to further that performance? Like,
right.
I don't want them to become stagnant. And
Did
that's kind of what I'm worried about.
They didn't do so well in the qualifier for DreamHack, or was it WSOE?
Right. WSOE, they had a lot of troubles.
Right.
A lot of double commits.
You can already see within the last like 2 weeks before DreamHack, they obviously worked a lot to like figure out all those issues, and they looked really polished at at DreamHack. I actually found them to be the most consistent team there. I feel like Dignitas wasn't quite there with the consistency.
All about those scrims, right?
Right. Yeah, but I don't know. Like I really see.
Let's stick Reagan on that one.
I really see good things for Vitality in the future. I think that they now have a team that they're all on the same page. Vitality's definitely struggled with that in the past, so I'm excited to see like what they can do in the next season.
Now, I just want to talk about some North American teams real quick, just overall. I mean, like, North America, in all honesty, looks like it has an extremely strong top end, whereas EU seems to be a little bit more just spread out in the talent, you know, even overall on the playing field. How's NA looking now compared to the rest of the world?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, for me, like, EU, I think the top 6 is pretty solidified, right? Like, the bottom 2 still have some difficulties that they're going to have to figure out with roster changes, but top 6, like, good luck. Like, it's really strong teams throughout. NA, I think we have a couple teams all splitting that, like, 4th, 5th area with the top 3 pretty dang solidified. But that's a good thing, because it hasn't really happened.
I definitely think.
Yeah, like, every time, I think, Leth, you can definitely agree, is anytime that North America has gone to a LAN, top 3 is like, okay, these guys can compete. 4th is pretty much an easy win. And even though that 4th place team has definitely had upsets, per se, Evil Geniuses being the one that comes to mind the most, I think this season, the big reason as to why is Kronovi leaving G2. I think his efforts elsewhere is really going to help. I think, I mean, you can speak to it better than I can, is I love Zane Jackie to death. Chris is my boy, but I think it's time, right? Like, just the one change with Arsenal.
Can't comment on this, but at this very moment.
but like, I love Zane Jackie to death. Like, that's my guy. But
he's a good guy.
There was changes that needed to happen, and that's unfortunate because, like, I have always fought for him. Like, I know he's a good player. I know he can pass, but when it comes to shooting and stuff like that, like, when the moments it matters most, you haven't sold me on it, man. And it sucks to say, but I mean, look at all the other players that started with the same name as him. Your Espions, your Covenals, your, you know, even Husky, who's at my place for 2 weeks and wouldn't leave. Like, these guys just haven't been able to keep up.
Yeah,
that's understandable.
Just
it
called out.
You know, it's the natural talents that were in the game at the beginning, and now that natural talent doesn't really thrive as much, you need to actually push and.
Well, natural talent is alright. It still works. It's just without any of like that extra push.
Oh, exactly. Like everyone in the game has the natural talent.
That's why you have to give so much credit to Fireburner. You have to give people credit like Garrett and everything else. Guys that have been to every single LAN and have been there at the very beginning, like, and they're still rewarded and regarded as some of the best in their position. Like, it just shows how much work and effort they put in to stay at the top.
All right, I want to talk about just RLCS in general in a second, but I do want to, of course, touch on our first Cross-Seas international roster move. It was Drippe over to EG. Now, that's nuts. We've never seen this in Rocket League before, and I'm wondering if this is going to bring more changes like that to other teams in the future. First off, good move for EG.
I mean, it was a salvaging move for EG because they did have Chicago, as we know, moved over to G2, but definitely cut their losses because picking up Drippe in place of Chicago kind of leveled the playing field for EG. I'm not sure if it was quite the best move just because of, you know, they do have a lot of time to scrim because we still have a bit of time before RLCS starts, but I don't know if you feel like Lawler, like, they fit together well or if the playstyles don't mesh.
I'm gonna answer your question with a question.
Yeah.
Okay,
here it is.
If they don't pick up Drippe, who would they pick?
I mean, I think it might have been Illusion or someone like that. Like, there are a lot
Drippe to me is a way better player than Illusion. No offense to Illusion, but like Drippe is regarded as the best player from a region. And like even though OCE is considered like a lesser region per se, like there's no doubt Drippe is nuts.
Poor Illusion, man.
Poor Illusion.
I don't think it's Illusion. I think he's a great pick for you guys. I think he's done a lot for your guys' team. But I honestly believe that it was the best possible scenario for them.
Yeah,
unless they like pull someone from another already outstanding roster from top 3, which probably isn't going to happen. Like, Drippe is a fantastic pick. It's just him having to get used to the fact that he's now in North America, he's away from family. Like, there's a lot of mental stuff going on that's not really discussed. Because to move your life 3,000 miles plus across the world with no family, no friends, no whatever, like, Rocket League is now your life. And there's nothing else going on.
I feel like it was mostly his life before that, too.
I mean, it was mostly his life.
If you don't understand, like,
he
had family and like stuff nearby, like, it was comfortable for him. Like, he's in a completely different country, having to learn different culture, like, all that kind of stuff is tolling. And the fact that there's no real escape of it, like, he lives at the Xfinity Training Center, like, when he wakes up, it's Rocket League. When he goes to sleep, it's Rocket League, like, every time. He's got to find ways, in my opinion, to separate that, which is not going to be easy.
I think the one comment on that is he's been ready for this about a year and a half from now.
Dude, he can finally play with a real salary.
No, but he's been he's been looking at this for a long time. So like I think he's already pretty settled with the idea.
Mentally, he's
ready. He's good because like he's already had that prep. Like he said, he's totally fine. Like it was no problem transferring. So I think he's definitely a good pick for EG. I'm curious to see if the playstyles will match because I feel like OCE had a lot more midfield presence as far as like passing. Sometimes it was for the better, sometimes it was for the worse. But I don't know if Classics and Corrupted G really had that playstyle to match with him. We'll see if it works out. But so far, it hasn't looked too good for them. They've been definitely improving though in the last few weeks.
We're gonna have to find out. I do want to move on though because I of course have to touch on this. We now have Sam being entered into the RLCS. This is a brand new region. We saw, of course, OCE being entered in. Took them a few seasons. They caught up. Their skill level got better. Now, with Sam just right out there, what are we seeing skill-wise? Do we think they're going to match up? Are they going to have that kind of OCE run where they got to do a little bit of legwork to catch up?
Right.
Definitely going to have to do some legwork to catch up. I think the most exciting thing, though, is that we've already seen 2 teams signed by South American orgs, without qualifiers even being played yet. So level of confidence coming from the region, which is fantastic. Glad to see that. But seeing them play firsthand, there's definitely going to be some catching up to do. They've got an uphill battle, but it's exciting.
Yeah. Well, keep in mind, WSOE was definitely
wasn't a
mishmash of players. Yeah, they just kind of got put together due to visa issues. But I mean, like, just from as a player from your sites, what have you seen out of the region?
Regardless of teams or not, like at WSOE, like the individual players and their decision making just did not seem like at the same, like at par, which is fair because it's like OCE when they were first introduced into RLCS. Like they had some learning to do because there's just so much raw talent that they just had no exposure to until they were joined into the RLCS. So I'm interested to see.
That's the exciting part too, though, right? Like we talk about how they didn't look as good because they weren't like a true dedicated team as a melting pot of other things, but that also means that talent is being spread throughout all the other teams. So they get the experience from WSOE. They can now go back to their real full rosters and be like, this is the kind of stuff that they're doing in the other regions. This is why we're struggling or what we're going to be going up against. Let's take that information now before the RLCS season even starts and start trying to implement it. So I think it's good for the region. It's going to be a lot. Like, obviously they have a bigger player base and there's a lot of talent that they can pick from, but when you're not subject to it over an extended period of time, like all these other teams have been playing against each other for what, 3 years now? OCE obviously coming in the later half of that. It's going to be a little bit, but it's a good thing, right? Like more competition, the better.
Do you feel like OCE has less like of a variety of players than South America, or vice versa? Like
you'd have to say yes, just based on pure numbers of population.
Right.
And I feel like OCE as a region has a very, very strict play style, which is pretty much trying to emulate EU with less talent mechanically and otherwise. Although you are starting to see players like Zen, now taking a starting role. I mean, they just swept Icon in the Brawl tournament or Gauntlet tournament they just did. So I don't know. I think there's potential, but overall, I think South America has a little bit more to pick from and choose from. It's just a matter of I'm curious to see which teams are going to be the ones that come out of it and get into the RLCS because I don't know.
We're going to find out soon because it's coming up soon. Now I got a couple fan questions we got online. I just want to get to Lawler before we let you go here. Before I do it, I do want to, of course, mention, can we get some F3s in chat right now for Flipside leaving the scene? We do know that team dropped. I'd love to talk about it, but we do have to get to these questions. So hopefully you guys are giving respect to the org. Great org, been with the scene for a very long time. Gone now, but questions. Myth Rippa, I think it was on Twitter, asks, what is your favorite event to cast since you've been branching out into other games?
That's tough.
That is tough.
Rocket League's always going to be the baby, right? Like, without Rocket League, I wouldn't even be able to branch out into other stuff. So, casting Rocket League is definitely special in its own right. It's just, I really like casting battle royales, man. I don't know what it is. It's just.
Well, you're the analysis guy, dude. So, like, I understand it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
You get to sit back and watch and understand what's going on.
So I actually do play-by-play a lot. in battle royales.
Oh, really?
It's true conversational. There's just so much going on that you have to pass off a lot. So you get a lot of freedom in your casting. Like, you're sitting there having a conversation with someone, and then yes, you have your dedicated people that, you know, are the hype man or whatever, and that changes. I have experienced most BR casting with a StarCraft caster, actually. So he's a host. So it's weird because even though he's the one that usually directs the conversation, I'm the one that jumps in for the high level stuff. And it may be just because of the way that our voices are, or the connection that he and I have. He and I are both very analytical mindset. So I don't know, like, battle royales just have so much different things going on that there's never a lackluster moment of things to talk about. There's always something exciting, always something
you can focus on.
A lot of theory crafting going on. Like,
focus on
there's always different things that you can be like, well, what if they do this? What if they do that? And I love theory crafting in general, and battle royales just supplement that really well. So,
all right,
cool.
Yeah, battle royales are a lot of fun, man. If you've never casted one and you're looking to, do it. It's a good time.
Gotta love that Apex.
Possible controversial question coming up.
This is a fun one. This comes from Crunchy Goodness on Twitter, and Lawler, as a metalhead, he asks, Metallica or Megadeth?
Do I have to pick one?
You got it's one or the other.
Do I have to?
Oh, so he doesn't want to pick either.
If I had to pick between the two, probably Megadeth.
Okay.
I don't like Metallica.
I'm throwing this to you, too.
I'm not really I'm not as much of a metalhead as Lawler is, but I would probably have to say Megadeth, just from like pure like originality and interesting content. Like their music's really different.
So everybody who asked me, they're like, oh, why don't you like Metallica and stuff? I'm like, because it's the same stuff that's been for however many years. Like, they haven't really put out a good song since their Black album, which is pretty bad because they've been around for like 40 years. But I respect them for what they've done for the scene.
Mind
right?
Death
like,
Magnetic.
I mean,
right? Like, without Metallica, metal doesn't get to where it is.
I just can't stand his voice anymore.
And I respect that.
Right?
But,
all right.
This
is a metal podcast, so we do got to move on. But yeah, if you make sure you guys hit up Lawler on his stream for his Metal Mondays. Those are always really, really fun. But anyways, Lawler, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a blast, and hopefully we can have you back sometime.
Good to see you. Hope you're feeling well.
Oh yeah, we'll figure it out, right?
Awesome.
And next up, we got to talk about Renegade Cup. You and I were on the set for that, where we got to see a couple RLCS teams, a lot of upsets actually, and a lot of bubble teams try to make a name for themselves. And we put together a little package for you to see what went down.
What a bump from Bluey. That is something we don't see too often on your defensive side.
Oh no, Alpha, the solo plays from this man. Now it's at the midfield line. Al Dente gonna try and play this one in towards the box. Looking for the double tap as well. Can he find it? Yes, he can. No boost to the tank at the end, but there you go.
Into the air, Civical. Gonna beat that one over and at AXB. Great read. This is where Red are so strong about these passing plays back and forth. They are just keeping the ball out of Regalia, playing keep away.
This could be really good for Savage.
Could very well be, but we've seen a lot of these plays so far. Oh my goodness, no, an accidental team bump, and that one's gonna go through. Are you kidding me?
I don't know, it just looks like they're on fire this weekend. They know exactly what they need to be for together, but this could be an amazing shot.
My goodness, look at this. And Alpha will have to follow through. A pass to the center, gets past Mark. Another one past GCR, a double tap, and Devo pulls it off.
Has to get this away from his end. A good demo to buy them some time, but not enough for Devo to get in position. A great double touch, and that's how you get back into it. Slushy can't get control. Gyro does instead. Gets the demo and the goal. We've seen this so many times from him.
Here.
That's
good
a huge demo.
And another demo on the other side of the ball. RBG gonna respond, and there's the car for the upper line. Can't get that one away from the defenders. Pirates towards the net, off the post. It's not in. ZPS is able to keep it away, and they shut that one down.
Almost a connection by Noxus on the play. ZPS waiting so long in the midfield, and it paid off. Alpha Cap.
Afterthought looking to clinch the win right here. ZPS downfield. Tikarel gets a touch. Alpha Cap. They manage it through. Excellent passing play. Wins out on the 50-50 looking for a bump. ZPS up high. One man dead. Alpha Cap. No! Are you kidding me?
Afterthought, are you serious?
Savage just completely outclassing the rest of the competition, and they are your Renegade Cup winners for EU.
We have a lot of upsets, honestly. We saw a lot of even RLCS teams starting to get knocked down. when we see these bubble teams, compete against bubble teams, we're not seeing them against RLCS teams. I'm just curious, if you've ever played against these guys, scrimmed against them. What are your thoughts on the skill depth right now, just in Rocket League in general? And is this showcasing good for teams for scouting in that?
Right. Yeah, the skill gap is quite still there. I would say like the bubble teams don't have the experience quite yet to, like you said, it takes a lot of time. Like these RLCS players, the teams, they play over and over again. They scrim constantly, and a lot of bubble teams, they don't have that ability yet to be able to take that much time and practice and dedicate, their life to Rocket League. And so like Renegade Cup's a really good way for teams to actually have a chance to fight for some money and also put the time in and make a showcase of themselves.
Or as teams like Triple Trouble on that found out, a way to get your butt kicked. I think they went 0-2 in the tournament.
Yeah, it's sometimes harder to play those kind of teams. So
it is. But it is good. Again, we tend to see those tournaments bring out some talent again, like we've seen some of those guys. Echo Zulu was another team that has been kind of making waves. Exactly, making waves. So it is really cool to have those opportunities for those kind of players. But I want to talk a little bit more just about you right now, since we have you on the couch.
Right.
You talked about scrims and that. I know you've been doing that. But you've been a busy man. Aside from casting Rocket League, being a professional Rocket League player, co-hosting on a show like esports show now, you've also been making maps. Those have been nuts.
Just grinding, I've made, I think, 12, 13 maps so far. Jesus. The 14th one is coming. Actually, the 14th one's coming out today as of recording.
Right now.
And then the 15th one is going to be Easter. It's going to be a catwalk map where it's like opposite of Underpass, where you have a bridge in the middle and the goals are up a little bit higher, and it's like full Rocket League decals and assets and stuff. It's pretty crazy,
That's not so. Like, what really goes into that though? Like, that's got to be a lot of work.
Like, people keep asking me for tutorials about like how to make these maps. It's just like you don't want to be the source of that information, miss something, and then have these million questions about how to do it, and then I have to like respond to everybody. Like, I want to make sure
it's more YouTube content.
Right,
I guess.
I just want to make sure it's really polished. Like, I've got a list of ideas of what I want to talk about in the tutorial, but I want to make it short and concise, make it easy to understand and stuff. But it's a lot of work.
Oh, you don't want a 3-minute intro that doesn't say anything?
Yeah, it's just like the coding side of it's another issue too, right? Like you can do a geometrical map, but if you go into the coding side, like my pool table, or like even bowling's coming out soon, that'll be the 16th map probably after Easter and everything. Like just coding it to make it work in Rocket League is really difficult because the program we have to use is like a little bit sketchy. It's a little bit old. It's Unreal Engine 3, so.
This is probably sick though, because like you have an engineering degree, if people don't know that too, right? So this is kind of gives you a chance to put it to use, right?
Yeah, just a bit of the coding that I had like experience. Like I did a lot of tree stuff, like like there's called like these trees where it's a lot of like left, right trees.
Gardener now?
Yeah, it's like flowcharts basically. So it's really cool to use like a visual representation of coding, and I don't know, it's really rewarding to see it work finally in a real game and play with friends and stuff.
Now we got a couple questions before I get to those. So I've one thing I wanted to get a thought from you. I played with the curveball mod.
Oh yeah.
Do you think there's ever a chance to see that at professional level play?
Hell no.
He's like,
hell no. Have you seen that ball? It's on steroids. It like spins like, I don't even know what's going on. But yeah, the Magnus coefficient they added it, you can actually go in and affect that number. So you can change how fast it spins, how much it's
so maybe if it's like kind of cranked down
if it's gradual a little bit more,
Like, would you want to see that? Like, is that?
I don't know. I think that would throw off a lot of people, and it's just too inconsistent now. Because it is a physics-based game. It's really difficult to get that consistent. But if it could be polished, maybe a little bit of curve, just a little bit. People still think it exists in the game now, but it's obviously
it's all
visual.
Malarkey.
But
Okay. All right. It's time to get to the questions now, because we're running out of time. Our first question comes off Reddit. Squares are two triangles. Asked this: if you were asked to make a new non-standard map that would be used in the RLCS, what would it look like?
Well, it's funny you asked that, because the Easter map that's coming out for Easter is actually a quite interesting sort of shape. And I'm not going to say too much about it because I've shown some teasers on Twitter and whatever else. But I would say that's
still watch the video.
Yeah, exactly right. So I'd say that's probably a good shape, because it's close enough to a normal Rocket League map where it's not too going to throw people off basically. So I would say that one. It's a catwalk basically.
All right, so we'll see if we can push to get in there. This is all the promo right now for that. And now Breezeco, sorry if I say your name wrong, BREZCO says, when you say you'd use, can we to the next one here? There it is. Is Ghost entering the RLCS Season 7 with any kind of style in mind? High press speed, defense counterattack, high octane offense possession. As it really seems like stylistic tendencies right now are coming out in certain teams recently. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I feel like we kind of fit better with the European style, but when we play European teams, as we saw in DreamHack, Illusion and Memory both have not really played European teams before that tournament, so it was kind of a shock to them how they play. We kind of play like them, but they played a little bit faster. Like, they do exactly what we do, and we were like, what's happening? Like, we're getting countered every time, and it's because we didn't adapt to what we do to other teams in North America, which is why we feel like we've got a pretty good standing moving into this next season. I feel like we're a little more methodical, maybe a little bit, like, not slower, but just a little bit more precise about what we're doing on our actions. So if one cog falls out of place, though, that's where it all falls apart. You need to make sure, like, we have to make sure we're all on the same page, and that's where we're working on our communication moving into the next season.
It's all about synergy. Well, good luck going to the next season, my dude. It's been great chatting with you. Hopefully we'll have you back in the future. But we are out of time right now. Thank you, Leth and Lawler, of course, for joining us before. Tomorrow, right here on the show, Marissa and Zurich will be chatting with Moses all about the CSGO Major, so prepare your bodies for that. And if you just can't get enough Squad, which I can't blame you, check out all our socials at Squad State on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, everywhere. All that good stuff. Peace.
I always love a good Lawler in our shows. Fun fact, Birdie and Marissa have a framed picture of Lawler at their desk, and every time I walk past their office, they're always staring at it. It's kind of creepy, but I think they're aspiring to be him. You gotta stare at the picture to be him. We should actually get a huge oil canvas picture of Lawler so we could just stare and try to be him. I'm gonna try to make that happen, but let me give you a rundown on what's coming up tomorrow. We have more reported and unmuted. Marissa will be back for that, and the plays of the week, plus Zerk will be joining Marissa to talk all things CSGO in esports in 30. Till then, check out our socials at Squad State, and we'll see you next time.